2025 was a generational summer for movies, but what was the movie of the summer? Well, let's establish the criteria. First, you gotta come out between May 1st and August 8th, 2025. I don't know, I made up the rules. Second off, what is the criteria for actually being the movie of the summer? Well, when we look back at this summer in a few years' time, we gotta think this was the movie that defined that summer. So for example, 2022, Top Gun Maverick, 2023, Barbie, 2024, we're not gonna talk about it. So I think you get the drift. This is a very smart and analytical video where I'm choosing the best movie of the summer based off of vibes. Anyways, here are some of the disqualifications instantly. If you're a live action remake, you're not making the cut. You could have competed for movie of the summer when you originally came out, but you're a lie, and honestly, it's embarrassing that you're masquerading as a new movie. You're not making it on my list here. Get out of here, you skinwalker. Give me the real version. Let's start off with our first movie, Thunderbolts, which started off the summer season. Thunderbolts is a surprisingly good return to form for the MCU. I don't think it's great, but compared to Captain America Brave New World, it shat its pants. This movie is like the MCU finally getting on first base. But is this movie of the summer? No, because if it's an MCU movie, it comes out later this summer, it's better in it. Still fun time though. Next up is Friendship, an A24 comedy with Tim Robinson. You should be watching these movies. They get overlooked a lot, and I know they're not going to end up being movies this summer because no one really watches these type of movies on a mainstream level, but you got to give the indie darlings a chance. This is a really funny comedy that you may have missed and you may have liked. Anyways, this isn't going to compete for movie of the summer, but throughout the video, I'm going to keep mentioning films that you may have missed that are good to check out that may have been smaller. Next up, we have Final Destination Bloodlines and The Weeknd's movie, Hurry Up Tomorrow. This one's not going to win. Final Destination, you know, fun, but movie of the summer? No, we're going to forget about this movie by the time next summer rolls around. But to sum up the end of May, the big movie that was touting the end of May was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And it was a huge blockbuster conclusion to the Mission Impossible franchise that was kind of just okay. Kind of weird, the Mission Impossible franchise in the last two films didn't really land the ship. They went out on this insane 3-film run in the middle of this franchise, and they really just couldn't make a better action film than Fallout. And you know, that's not a bad thing, it's one of the best action films ever made, they just couldn't end up topping it. To round out May, we have Karate Kid 43, who cares, no one saw this. Speaking of movies no one saw, the creator of Succession made a movie, and apparently no one cared about it. It got dumped straight on HBO.
Decision's final, goodbye!
But a great movie did drop at the end of May that not enough people talked about, and that was Wes Anderson's latest film, The Finishing Scheme. I don't know what happened, but it seems way more people than ever skipped out on this one for no reason. It's a shame. This movie's really good, and I think it's the first main contender for movie of the summer because it's a really funny comedy, and I didn't see enough people talking about it. Anyways, we now have one contender heading into June. Let's see what the first movie is, and oh no.
I mean, if she was a ballerina, it would have been a successful movie.
Don't listen to Frank Grillo. Ballerina is fine. But movie of the summer? Yeah, no. This franchise might be dead, honestly. No one was watching Ballerina, and honestly, action films this summer really suffered. Nobody 2 didn't really make a lot of money either. The action movies of 2025 really didn't cut it. Both of these films, I guess, are out of contention. But 2 other films released this day that not enough people talked about. One was Mike Flanagan's new film, Life of Chuck. Not enough people talk about Mike Flanagan. He's one of the best directors out right now, and he doesn't miss. The other one was Predator: Killer of Killers, a brand new animated Predator film that dropped that was directed by the same guy who directed Prey. It was pretty good. Not a lot of people talked about it, and it was fun. You should check it out. Next up, we also had A24 coming out with Darlene Celine Song's sophomore debut with her newest movie, Materialist, after she came out with Past Lives, and honestly, it's not as good. I don't really care about this movie. Anyways, I want to talk about the zombie movie. 28 Years Later was the best movie no one talked about this summer. I found it to be a visual and character-rich, beautiful look at love and death in an apocalypse. You're either going to click with this movie or not. A lot of people don't like how the film was shot or edited, but the way this film looks at love and survival and focusing it through a really rich and depthful character with Spike is so good, and the way it navigates between hope and really dark topics such as cancer and death was so tender and so powerful when you're viewing it through a child's eye. This reminded me a lot of the first time when I played The Last of Us, where it's a beautiful look at the zombie apocalypse through a child's eye and the jaded eye of those who are older, and it was so good. This movie didn't get talked about enough. 28 Years Later was amazing. It's an instant contender for movie of the summer. But also, 2 animated films also dropped this day. One of them was Elio, and sorry, we're gonna have to remove you from the discussion for movie this summer because another animated film dropped the same day as Elio, which is way better than Mogs It, which is K-pop Demon Hunters. I guarantee you've already seen this. I don't need to tell you that this movie's awesome. This is such a fun, brand new idea that explores unique and deep themes in a film that's extremely accessible to younger kids. But by constantly using fantastic action sequences and great music numbers, it makes it a film that's a delight for anyone to watch. This was the best movie of the summer for me. I had no idea K-pop Demon Hunters was going to be on my radar, but it's in contention right now for movie this summer. It's a great time, and I know it's a great time because all of you are listening to it on your Spotify. I can prove it. I got the data to back me up. But to round out June, we got one last contender, and that's F1. And honestly, this one might win it all. F1 is a rip-roar time. Its characters aren't the deepest, but the stakes are as intense as the filmmaking is fast. I loved F1, and seeing it on a huge screen with a big tub of popcorn is what makes seeing movies in the summer something that is so special. Also, Megan 2.0 came out. Remember that? Anyways, you're not in contention. You're in like the trash tier. You can sit by War of the Worlds though. Now, starting in July, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. Is this a contender? No. This franchise needs to die. This script is so lazy, so creatively bankrupt that you forget that the director who made this, Gareth Edwards, has actually made good movies in the past, and that these cast members as well can also act if they want to. Jurassic World 7 is Hollywood at its lowest and most morally and creatively bankrupt. It's viewing its audience members as just cash clogging up theater seats that they can exploit. This movie is awful. Hollywood might have no hope. Is there anything that can save us? Oh look, Superman. Superman is a top contender for me for movie of this summer. James Gunn restarted this universe, and with one movie and Matt Reeves nailing his Batman movie, single-handedly restored all faith in DC movies going forward. Is this a perfect movie? No, far from it, but what it nails is the characters, and most importantly, the character of Superman. Superman is one of the most hopeful and delightful films of the summer, and it makes you want to be a better person in a world that doesn't always value that. Superman is special, and I just haven't stopped thinking about it. After Superman though, what were the two influential movies that came out? Well, we had two sequels / reboots of franchises that everyone kind of forgot about. First one was I Know What You Did Last Summer, and the other one was Smurfs. Now, I Know What You Did Last Summer, this is just a legacy reboot. Who cares? Everyone's gonna forget about this movie. Let's talk about the Smurfs though. Did I watch this Smurfs movie? No, but I am convinced these films are money laundering schemes. I think there's a higher chance I wake up tomorrow as a literal triceratops than someone makes a good Smurfs movie in my lifetime. Sell all of the Smurf stock. They just do not care about these movies. If you want to see everyone just getting into a film to get a paycheck, look at the Smurfs franchise. If I was buying a home in the LA area, I would instantly look up who was in the Smurfs cast and instantly target them to see if I could buy their house. These movies are just horrible, and I saw like influencer Smurf getting like flailed and dragged through the street. What was that about? But while the Smurfs were busy destroying any goodwill the franchise had left, one of my favorite filmmakers dropped a film that same day, and that was Ari Aster with Eddington. Now, let's go over my opinions on Ari Aster. First, banger, misfire, and then Eddington. I think Eddington is an interesting look at the American political climate. It's just that when we look back in 3 years, we're not going to be like, you know what summer movie rocked my world? Eddington. No, this is like a bleak, sad look at America. Speaking of bleak, unfortunately next week we're going to have to talk about a movie that has maybe the worst actor of all time, Rob Schneider in Happy Gilmore 2. Kyle Neuchek directed one of the worst romantic comedies of all time with Murder Mystery. His films are just so generic and beyond saving, and of course Adam Sandler saw how well that film did and said, yeah, this is the guy for Happy Gilmore 2. This movie is just bad. It's not funny. It's not movie this summer. Comedies are dead. Or are they? We'll get back to you later, Naked Gun. And as well, on the same day, we had Fantastic Four First Steps release. This movie's good. It's better than Thunderbolts. It's fun and simple and extremely short, but it also felt like Marvel knew this one had to be a smash hit, and they ended up sanding off all of the edges of this movie because they knew this was going to be the main cast for Avengers Doomsday that's coming up. But what it leads to is this movie being edited to an inch of its life and losing what makes the Fantastic Four interesting, which is the characters, because the characters really don't get time to breathe outside of the main plot. Still, this is a really fun movie. It's probably the best Marvel movie they've put out in the last 2 years, but it's not movie of the summer. But when Doomsday comes out, it's going to look like Citizen Kane. But on the next week, we got one of my favorite films of the summer. From the Lonely Island director Akiva Schaffer, he made the Naked Gun Legacy sequel. This is the funniest movie of the year. If none of you saw it, please go see it while it's still in theaters. I need a sequel. And if you let the third Lonely Island movie in a row fail, I just don't think I can take another podcast episode where they talk about how hard it is for them to deal with another classic comedy, fail financially, but become a cult classic years later. Go support this film while it's in theaters. It's in contention for movie of the summer. And the last movie we're going to talk about to end off the summer season is Weapons. This was the most talked about horror film of the summer, and Weapons is fantastic. If you want to hear more, I did a whole video on Zach Kreger, but trust me, Weapons is a treat. It's not a movie that's a scare a minute, but it's creepy and fun and has a great structure and is a blast to watch. I don't think it clears though into movie of the summer though, because I think 28 Years Later is a better horror film. And you might be asking, why do I think that? Why do I give 28 Years Later the edge? Well, I don't really remember Weapons having a Power Rangers sequence, sorry, that's the rules. Anyways, now let's look at our top 5 films for movie of the summer. But let's narrow it down to the top 3 that we have. The first one that's not going to make the cut in the top 3 is probably 28 Years Later. I think this movie is so fun and so experimental for a big budget Hollywood film. I'm so glad that it hopefully succeeds and gets the rest of the trilogy, but I just don't think enough people saw it for it to be movie of the summer, and unfortunately it goes the same way for the Naked Gun remake. It's so funny, and then it just kind of bombed again, so it's really unfortunate. Both these movies are fantastic, but movie of the summer, everyone's kind of got to see it for it to be that. Now we have our 3 final films left, so let's first look at K-Pop Demon Hunters, which would be my pick for movie of the summer, but for one reason it's not, and that's that there wasn't a theatrical release when this movie came out. Now I know people are going to say, well, it came back for a sing-along for 2 days where you could go see it in the theaters. That doesn't count. These movies got to be in the theaters during the summer for it to be contender for movie of the summer. It's an amazing movie and honestly probably had the most impact of any movie that came out this summer, but releasing on Netflix, sorry, I just can't reward that type of behavior. I'm sorry, you're eliminated. Now we have 2 films left for the decision of which one is movie of the summer, and I think the question that comes to which one I'm going to pick is which one's going to be remembered in a few years as the film of the summer, F1 or Superman. I think F1 on a directing and style level was a lot stronger than Superman. It's got incredible direction that really elevates a story that's pretty just normal. And if you're looking at this film from a completely technical level, F1 is probably the better movie than Superman. But Superman, it's just got the heart, man. Superman has to be the film of the summer. It showed hope in a time where it feels easier than ever just not to be hopeful. It showed the importance of being kind even in the hardest times. And we look back at how Barbie and Spider-Verse dominated 2023 or how Top Gun dominated 2022. When we look back at the summer of 2025, the film that everyone's going to be talking about is when Superman came out and kicked off this brand new universe that was way more hopeful and kind than the DC universe that came before it. Superman was a movie where it was the right place at the right time. And I don't think it could have came out in a better summer than 2025, and that's why it's movie of the summer. But the most important thing is that we're still getting incredible movies during the summertime, for the most part.
Oh, bitch! Get out the way! Damn access card doesn't work.